Welcome to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast, where we cover anything related to behavior change that will increase your long-term wellness and happiness. And now, here are your hosts, personal trainer and RNs, Matt and Jenna.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. My name is Matt. Jenna is not here today. She's not feeling too hot, but yours truly is going to run this bad boy by myself. I've only done this a handful of times, and it's felt strange every time. Today we have someone on, Robert Cameron, and I'm excited to talk to him. He's been a supporter of our channel, but I've gotten to know him through a few other ways, which we'll get into, but just a very good heart. You can feel this on this guy. And anyway, we're going to talk to him about his journey. But before we dive into this, if this is your first time on this podcast, we are all about implementing behavior change for your long-term wellness and happiness. Think anything fitness, think anything wellness, there's behavior change behind it. And I know that Rob has that. I'm very excited to dive into that. But at the top of every show, we always hit you with our gratitude point. This gratitude point is something that is meant to shift your perspective. It can be small. It can be large. And for me, I'm going to go with not being in pain. It feels good to feel good, and it feels good. It wasn't too long ago that I herniated a disc, but I'm now recovered, and I'm feeling much, much better. Now that I've run my mouth long enough, let's get this guy in here. Robert, thanks for being here, man. Rob, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, actually.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We talked about it a little bit before, and I was like, all right, do you go by Robert or do you go by Rob? I never really asked you that, and I just called you Robert. So, Rob, if you have a gratitude point, hit us with it. If not, no biggie, good sir.
Yeah, no, I do. I am grateful for my location where I live. And specifically what I mean by that is that everything I need is walking distance.
Hey.
It takes me about 10 minutes to get to a grocery store if I need something, I've forgotten something. Makes eating healthy a lot easier, to be honest.
Hey, I don't have that. I got to drive to where I go. So that's beautiful to be able to point that out. Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you, sharing this part of your life. Obviously, it's very, like this dives into who you are. It's very exposing. So I appreciate you taking the time. And I just wanted to highlight like your fitness journey, first of all, let me ask you this. How did you actually find us? Not to make this about us. This is about you, but how did you find us?
Well, I'm sure you've never heard this story before, but I watched a certain Star Wars video with Mr. Holden Hardman. I started to watch more of your reaction videos because honestly, I watched it expecting you to just shred Star Wars, and you did. And I thought that would be hilarious. But you were fairly honest. You didn't shred the people watching Star Wars.
Yeah, okay.
So then I kept watching, and I saw in one of your videos that Holden did, someone asked the question, why has Matt not seen these movies?
Yeah.
And you went on to explain about that you had a business and you were doing other things. So I clicked. I wanted to see, well, what's so important that he didn't watch all these awesome movies? And lo and behold, I got hooked on your channel.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. I actually don't think that I've because we've talked outside of here, but I haven't really asked that backstory. So it's always interesting to me, and it's crazy because you're not the first person to tell me that they've found us through Holden's channel, and specifically the Star Wars video. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. That's sort of where Holden got his traction, and it was a really fun video. Well, awesome. I'm glad that my my unpopular reaction brought you over here. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, in full transparency, Rob has actually run through my 30-day full body challenge. He's actually running through another program now, and you did incredibly with the 30-day challenge. You knocked it out of the park, and not just your results; those were great, but your activity throughout it all. I mean, you just kept plugging away, and that's why you did it. Sure, I set up the program, but had it not been for your work, had it not been for your practice, like it wouldn't have done anything. So good for you.
Well, I guess I'll be transparent too. When you first talked about the 30-day challenge, I didn't actually know what it was. I thought you were just going to have like your subscribers send you stuff in,
okay,
see who did their own thing the best.
Interesting.
And then I realized, oh, I'm signing up for something.
Okay, interesting.
And then that actually, I think, helped because that was a commitment. And then like, once I saw my name on something, then I wanted to see it done properly. And I wanted to see all those completes.
Wow.
Even if I didn't enjoy doing the workout, I wanted to see it say complete at the end of the day.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And diving into what he's talking about, so I actually have an app in this 30-day full body challenge. It's now a 30-day full body group challenge. He's talking about completing. So each workout you complete, it gives you that feedback. It lets me know inside the app, okay, like you did what you're doing. So that's how I was actually able to know that you did all of your actual training sessions. And well, good. That's fantastic. So hopping around a little bit, but why did you sort of start down this? What does your fitness or wellness look like your entire life? If you want to give that backstory, sort of who you are and why you are.
Sure. Well, as a kid, I was a massive sports fan. Like I've been a sports fan longer than my memories go back, to be honest.
Okay.
And I was kind of I guess you'd call me lanky and wiry kid.
Okay.
Very thin. I could eat anything I wanted, I thought, and never gain a pound. So I felt like I was fit and I could do a lot of things, but I didn't understand fitness.
Okay.
And later on, when I stopped being so active, I stopped playing sports. I guess I got more into my family life.
Sure.
I was surprised to see that I could not just eat anything that I wanted and do anything that I wanted. And that's when it kind of got out of control. And then I psyched myself out because of being a sports fan, because I would see how much work these professional athletes were putting in to look the way that they did. And I thought, oh my gosh, is that how hard I got to go if I'm going to look good? And so I just could not bring myself to commit to being a pro athlete just to look good, if that makes sense.
Wow. Okay.
And I guess the last few months, probably what has changed is learning about the caloric maintenance.
Okay.
And that actually eating differently and figuring out my portions has probably led to my weight loss, I think, more so than even the exercise.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing the exercise, but I definitely have seen the value in watching what you eat.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched your MyFitnessPal video. I hooked it up, and what actually shocked me was I thought eating less calories meant I was going to be hungry all the time.
Right.
I was eating less food, and it just actually meant that I had to eat different food because some stuff wasn't filling me up. It was actually very encouraging, to be honest, is what I'm getting at, because I was eating better stuff than I thought I was going to be able to. I wasn't just eating salads every meal and feeling my stomach rumble. I was actually eating stuff that was making me feel satisfied, and I was still losing weight. So it was really encouraging in that way.
Awesome. So that's so for me, that's what I do. And it's sort of, this isn't me bragging, but it's just sort of second nature to me. But I remember having those aha moments. And for me, nutrition was the same thing. That made the biggest impact. So to hear you have those light bulbs is awesome. And I'm glad to know that, like you said, it encouraged you. It wasn't disheartening. And there's definitely this preconceived notion, I think, behind cutting calories means you're going to have to be miserable or hungry. And it couldn't be anything further from the truth. You're not going to stick to that. And you're very much a stick-to-it type person. It's very obvious. I can tell with people that I work with who sticks with it and who doesn't, who may stick with it, but you stick to it. And why do you think that you stuck to it all 30 days? And now you're doing it even longer. Why?
I don't think I would have a year ago even.
Okay.
I'm watching my son grow up. He's 4.
Okay.
And I'm realizing that when he's a teenager, he's going to want to do things, and I'm going to want to do them with him and still be part of his life then. So it's really just that I want to still be able to do things with my family. I want him to be able to look up to me in a certain way. So if I can set an example for him and also be able to still do things with him, that's totally worth it for me. I guess you could call that my why.
Yeah, perfect. And what a strong why. So I mean, good on you for reaching and finding that. That's awesome. Awesome. What do you think has been your biggest struggle? And that doesn't have to be within this recent period of time, but overall with fitness wellness, what's been your biggest struggle?
Mental health, I guess. If I made a mistake, I would beat myself up, and then I would keep making that mistake over and over. Wouldn't fix myself because I said, "Oh, I failed once and fail again, so there's no point in trying. It's a waste of time to try." Basically, was my mindset.
Okay.
And then I just like to eat. Like, I like food.
Sure.
I like cooking food. I like watching the food channel. I like all of that. So for me, that's a comforting thing. So if I get stressed out, probably I'm going to eat because that's what I like.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, so tell me, do you feel like you have a better grip on balance now? Like, do you feel like you could eat sort of what you want at times without this? What I've heard a lot of people say is there's this crazy fear behind it. And I've experienced that too back in the day when I was sort of starting out, that like I felt like I had to eat these certain things and I couldn't deviate. I couldn't eat, a slice of pizza or something like that. Do you have that fear that's behind that? Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I was feeling fear. I think less so now.
Okay.
Because I realize I can fix it one meal later.
Okay.
If I have a meal, I can just say, okay, well, that was my cheat meal for this week.
Okay.
It wasn't a mistake. It was part of my diet. I think you've talked before about the 80-20 diet or whatever.
Yep.
So I don't plan out the 20% that's not healthy.
Sure.
It's just when I'm with friends and someone says, let's go, then there's my 20.
There you go.
And then the rest of the time I can focus on eating fairly good things.
Yeah.
Which is not as hard as I thought it was, to be honest.
Okay.
Good and healthy things can also taste good.
Yeah.
Just takes a little experimentation, I think.
Yeah, it takes practice. Just like with anything, like the more you practice it, the more you're around it, the better you get. And I think that's I think that's what a lot of people do. They get discouraged and, like you said, beating yourself up and just quitting altogether. I think that's fairly common, but so what he's talking about with this 80-20 thing, and I don't believe I'm the first person to ever come up with it, but flexible nutrition is basically 80% you're eating, quote unquote, what you should, your caloric balance, lean protein and all the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. That 20% is what you want to eat. Now there is this, mathematically, if you blow it out of the water that day with that 20%, and if you really go hard on that 20%, you're not doing 20%, you're doing, 30, 40%. But it's balance, and balance is tough. I feel like a lot of the answers I give or, advice that I give, things that have worked for me, I feel like when I give some of that, it feels very broad, but the truth is that it takes a while to learn that balance piece. It takes, like you said, experimentation and learning what foods you do like, and learning what foods, oh my gosh, that actually can taste good. And if I had $1 for every time I've seen a fitness cookbook or a fitness recipe book and all that, like, it's out there. It's possible to do. You just have to be willing to do it. So. Mm-hmm. You said you don't think you would have stuck to it a year ago. Now,
I don't think so. No, for sure not.
And you said your reason as to why, but why now as compared to a year, 2, 3 years ago? Like, what made you realize that why? Was it simply just because he is growing up?
No, you know what it was? It's the COVID-19. It caused me to be home for more than 2 months
Get out
with
of
my
here.
son.
Okay.
And I knew it could go two ways. Like if I'm sitting at home for 2 months, I can gain weight or I can use the time to actually do something.
Okay.
So I had plenty of time. I thought I no longer have the excuse of I'm spending all this time at work. I'm doing this and that. I'm at home for 2 months. And then being at home, of course, I see my son every day and it just kind of strengthened the why.
Mm.
So I had really no excuses not to do it. And then also I had plenty of motivation right in front of me every day.
Okay. That's huge. It's huge right now because a lot of people are experiencing that. And, if I'm in full transparency, I was feeling that. I mean, there was, I can say that I have this going on and I have that going on, but when it's not your focus and it is fairly simple to do at the house, when it is certain decisions that you make, it's, you're right. You can go one direction or the other. So let me ask you this. And again, this is not a plug for me, but because I enjoy when people say, sure, I watch you, I like you, but I love it when other people say, I like this person too. And then this person is motivating. And I learned this from that. I'm all about spreading. If there is anybody else that gives you like value, is there anybody else that you follow on Instagram, YouTube, anything like that?
No.
Really?
No, actually.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this, but in order for me to participate in the 30-day program, I had to actually create an Instagram account.
That's right. It's coming back to me. That's right. Yep.
It's very actually out of character for me to even comment on a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
This is all kind of a big change for me in the last few months.
Wow.
And I think it was your live meal prep. I just kind of enjoyed hearing conversation because I was by myself at home so much.
Okay.
And it was almost a social thing. And I thought, well, they'll probably be talking about nutrition on this live meal prep. Lo and behold, we were talking about movies the whole time, I think. But
yeah.
Still, it got me kind of hooked. But no, I don't follow much or post much.
Okay.
I have a very short list of subscriptions if you screenshotted my YouTube.
Okay, cool.
I think Jenna's at the top.
I bet it is. I bet she is. So if you guys aren't following Jenna's channel, she is baffled Holden, myself, Pastor Jeremy, a bunch of the people on his channel. She now has 1,600 subscribers on YouTube without any videos, which just makes Holden and I want to vomit, considering how we've been working on this for 3 years. And now, but we're happy for her for having that. It's been really cool because. Thank you. I appreciate that. That does mean the world to us. And you're a part of this group, this community, and this community has grown, and there's so much happiness, if I'm being honest. There's so much happiness that comes from this community and connecting with people, and just you taking the time to do this podcast. Like it's been incredible. It's been incredible. So shout out to the audience that is here watching us. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Tell me this. What is your definition of happiness? Putting you on the spot.
Peacefulness.
Peacefulness.
And happiness could almost be interchangeable for me. Feeling just safe,
okay.
You can tell a joke.
Okay.
In the comfort of your family. You're not worried about things.
Okay.
I guess a lack of anxiety almost is my idea of happiness. Not that you're never going to experience anxiety, but those are probably not my moments when I'm most joyful.
Okay. Do you deal with a lot of anxiety? Really digging into you here. Do you deal with a lot of anxiety or just somewhat, or?
I do. I go back and forth though. I try to not to give up on anxiety. I was big into boxing when I was in high school.
Okay.
Didn't continue competing because of an injury that I got to my shoulder, but I did keep teaching it. So there's a lot of boxing stories where just perseverance pays off.
Okay.
So that whole not giving up thing is ingrained into me in terms of a mental aspect.
There you go.
But I was, as I said earlier, I was not willing to go that hard physically.
Okay.
So the answer is yes. I deal with a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
But I think that I actually deal with it well. I talk to people about it. I don't bottle it up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So it's interesting to hear you say not giving up on the anxiety. Like my gut reaction was like, well, what do you mean give up on it? But I guess what you mean is you don't give into it. You don't fold with it. And
yeah, I don't let it consume me, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't sit there and just kind of dwell only on that. I try and do something about it. Do something that I find fun or positive, or go see someone that I find fun or positive, or just allow myself to feel that pain and talk to somebody.
Okay.
But I try to not just, sit in a dark room.
Okay. Tell me this, has fitness ever caused you anxiety? Like, have you ever felt, like you said, you beat yourself up, or have you had anxiety because of fitness, falling out of it and being like, man, I know I should be doing that. I should be like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I think you have the slogan, the better than yesterday everyday podcast.
Yeah.
So I would go so hard at the beginning, and I would know that I have to be better than yesterday. I'm like, oh no. But this was well before I'd ever discovered you and that phrase. But in my mind, I still knew, like, I do need to beat what I did yesterday. If I could do it yesterday, I can do it today.
Right.
And it would snowball, and I would realize I can't just keep setting a new personal best every single time.
Right.
But I also, since I learned the phrase better than yesterday every day, I broke it down for myself, and it has actually helped. And in my opinion, the most important word in those 4 words is every day. Because even if I didn't beat yesterday, at least I kept going. And then if I didn't get it every day and I made that mistake, I now did nothing the day before. So it's easy to be better than yesterday.
Wow. You broke that down incredibly. Damn, you're right. You did make it work for you. That's awesome. You might have explained it better than I can. That was really well put. Really well put. Yeah. So I did want to talk to you about this, because we talked about it before we got on the podcast, but you recently have dealt with a loss, and it actually, I told you last night, I was like, if you want to take more time, please, like, I don't want to pressure you into this. I don't want to bring you on before you're ready. But you said something very impressive to me. You were like, no, I think this is exactly what he would want for me. And so anyway, I'll let you start it out by talking about it, but yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, he would have been the one most interested in my fitness journey. Every time I saw my grandfathers, who we're talking about, he would ask me, what do you weigh now? And he wasn't saying it in a judgmental way. He was just checking on me, hoping I was doing okay. He's also, he was probably my main friend as a sports fan. So I said I was a sports fan growing up.
Yeah.
He was the one who was right alongside me, watching all those things and cheering me on when I was playing games. So he would have been probably the one with the biggest interest in my fitness journey.
Okay.
And then to see it on any type of a video, he would have thought that was even cooler.
Really?
So for sure, he would have loved this if he'd gotten to see it.
Good. And I'm glad, because I remember you said that last night, and I'm glad that we're doing it. I'm glad that, he's hearing it. In my beliefs, I believe he's hearing it. So tell me, like, why in this time of obvious loss, pain, hurt, why not tap out? Why not take the time away from your fitness, your wellness? Because anyone could make that, I don't even want to call it an excuse. I don't feel that it's an excuse, but anyone could make that plight that, hey, I'm dealing with major loss right now, and I cannot bring myself to work on my fitness, my wellness. I don't think that you're wrong if you cannot, but what you basically told me was, no, I don't want to stop. So why is it that way for you?
Uh, I guess similar to COVID-19, like I think this can go one of two ways.
Mm,
I can let myself really get depressed about this, and I don't see depressed as the same thing as sad. I'm feeling sad right now. I've been feeling sad the last several days. I'm in pain, but I'm not depressed.
okay.
Um, I know he would want me to keep going.
Yeah.
My why has not changed.
Mm,
Um, I just think now more than ever is when I can't give up. Um, I have a lot of family. They came together in a very special way, but I think for them, I still also want to be strong.
yeah.
So I can't really tell anyone how to live their life,
Sure.
but the best thing I think I can do is do the best I can do, and hopefully people will see that I'm doing it. And I mean my family mainly, but I guess it could mean people at work as well, or anywhere in life.
Absolutely.
But I think if I just keep going, people will take notice, and then it will rub off on them, hopefully, and the positivity will snowball. That's really my hope.
I believe that that's exactly how it'll happen. I I've found that I've had a lot of questions of how do I get my friend or my husband or my wife, how do I get them to start getting into fitness or getting into wellness? And that's always my answer back is, well, what are you doing? You know, like it's very easy to point a finger and be like, yeah, that he needs to drop some weight. You know, she needs to work on that. I mean, you can't force anyone into it. You cannot. Leading by example is the best way that you can quote unquote persuade someone. They have to want to do it. So for you, I mean, you're an example to your son. You're right, to your coworkers, to your family, to the people around you. And I 1000% agree with you. So I'm glad that you've chosen that route. It seems like it is the best route for you. But that's good on you because that's tougher. It's tougher. It's so much easier to stay in a dark room and to chill. It is. And, you know, I think we all deal with things differently. And I don't think that I don't know. I think it's wrong I think it's wrong for me to be like, the way you're coping with it is wrong. You should, you know, you should be working out 24/7. I mean, if it was your decision to go the opposite route, I mean, it's your coping. So, but the way you're doing it is more difficult. So good on you for leading by example.
I think when you're feeling down, it's not easy to start exercising. You're not going to feel that motivation probably.
True.
However, when you are exercising, I find it is fairly therapeutic for not feeling good. Just you're working things out and you're kind of more concentrated on breathing heavy, and
Yeah.
your muscles are starting to ache, and you don't really have as much time to think about how you're feeling sad, and it helps.
Okay. So
And
that
then
distraction piece.
and then you've had that time, however long your workout is, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, you've taken that time away and kind of reset yourself a little bit.
Yep. 1000% correct. Yeah.
Definitely not easy to get going, but I think once you're doing it helps a lot.
Yep. No, I totally
mentally
agree.
more than physically almost.
Yeah. I think you're totally right. And it's, so, you know, as you were saying that, I know that there are people out there that getting started is the toughest part. I don't have the motivation to get started. Can you speak on that? Like, how would you quote unquote get started or find motivation? Because that's a big, big question that I think a lot of people have. What does that look like for you?
I haven't been able to put my finger exactly on why I like that first day that I got started.
Mm-hmm.
I think something just triggered me. I think I stared at a piece of fruit or something. I said, that looks good. And I ate the fruit. And I was like, well, maybe I should eat more fruit. It's probably better for you than, but it was something really simple that kind of got me going. It was not anything profound.
That's awesome. And it's so, like, you're saying that immediately, like, I start thinking that's how small it can be. Like, it can be such a small step of eat a friggin' orange. Like, start there. That's awesome. That's, like we've talked about it before, that positivity snowball and how you just pick one thing up, stay with that one thing. If you can only stay with eating an orange daily for a month and that's your start, then let that be your start. I think that's awesome. So good for you on that getting started piece. And I will be honest and tell you that sometimes for some people, it's simply kicking yourself in your own butt and knowing that, like, I have to start. I just have to start. And starting out is the toughest part. Starting out, it sucks. But man, when the ball gets rolling, it feels so much better. And I don't want to say that it gets easier, but it's damn sure not as difficult as to when you start. Just getting off the ground that's the toughest part.
Getting the ball rolling is a good analogy, actually, because I think it's a very heavy ball. It rolls very slowly, but you just keep pushing and it'll roll a little faster and a little faster. You don't have to get the ball down the mountain at the first push, is I guess what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Which is what I always thought that I had to do before. I had to come out and listen to rocky music and run up the stairs. Mm-hmm. I've actually been taking it way easier this time around and getting better results, to be honest.
That's awesome. Well, and you touched on that, and you said, you basically went hardcore. Like, you had so much intensity in the beginning, and then it sort of fell off. And not to plug the thing again, but it's true that, that's how the 30-day full body challenge was designed. In the very beginning, you do something basically every single day for 30 days. The very first day is fairly simple, even for somebody that's fairly deconditioned. And I get a lot of people that say, like, what is this? Like, this isn't enough. But man, by when you're a week into it, 2 weeks into it, when you have done something every single day, it's the consistency piece. It's not the intensity. So good on you for slowing down and getting better results.
It did take a little bit of time, actually. In the 30-day program, you have scheduled rest days in there.
Yeah.
And I think the first one or two, I did not like them. I felt like I was supposed to be doing something. Sure. I can't rest all day. But it helped that because you'd scheduled it in there, you were saying it was okay. It was part of the program. So I did it. I didn't want to rest, actually, but I did. So it feels weird to say that it's hard to do the work and then at the same time come back and say, but why can't I work?
Yeah, so it's hard to take a rest.
Yeah. It's hard to do both, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it shows that you're eager. It shows that you're eager for it. And there's something to be said, and this isn't about the 30-day challenge, but, like, there's something to be said that when you finish a training session, if you leave from that with just a little bit of, I feel like I could probably do a little more. I feel like there's two routes that you can go. And of course, it's the classic thing, well, you need to give all you have at all times, burn yourself to the ground. Now, I think when you're an athlete or something like that, I think it's different maybe. I don't know, I'm not an athlete, but I think for your health, I think for people that just simply want to live a healthy life, I believe that is the best route to walk away thinking, man, I probably could have done a little bit more, because that allows you to come back the next day. It is truly that consistency piece. And I didn't understand that in the beginning. I totally missed that. And we've told it before that I left Jenna in a movie theater once. We were going to see a movie that night, and I hadn't gone to the gym yet. And this was my first, like, year into fitness and working out. I did not have that balance. And I was so anxious because I hadn't gone to the gym, and we were going to the movie theater, and we were sitting there, and it was like a quarter of the way through the movie. I got up and left and went to the gym. I look back at that and feel like an absolute moron, but I didn't realize that consistency piece and realizing that you can take downtime. So good on you for, it sounds like you're doing better with it now that you're in the next program. So good for you.
Yeah. Actually, the next one, I think you actually have me resting even more than the 30-day one, to be honest.
Yeah, there's definitely, this program, there's definitely more intensity. Because because it's for a longer period of time. And
Right.
so, yeah, and you're not doing something every single day. So those days are a little more intense. Well, this has been awesome. Is there anything in closing that you want to say that you feel like there has to be said? Is there anything you want to say?
No. I hope that anyone who watched this, if they haven't started their fitness journey, just go do something, anything. Just do one thing that makes you feel good that you can say you did it. That would be my closing message, I guess.
Perfect. I love it. You've been awesome, good sir. I really appreciate you. Thanks for working with our schedule, and I know we had some technology issues to begin with, but I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. Hang tight. I'll talk to you in a sec. Guys, you don't have to be perfect at this consistency thing. Just try to be better than yesterday. Every day. We'll talk to y'all next week.
This has been the Better Than Yesterday Everyday Podcast. We want to thank you for listening and invite you to subscribe to the show as well. And follow Matt Lane Fitness on YouTube. Until next time, you don't have to be perfect. Just be better than yesterday every day.